Hello everyone, and welcome to part 1 of our yearly review of our weather for 2023. So this will be in either 2 or 3 parts, depending on how much I can do in a video. As you may know, YouTube only allows me to have 15-minute videos. Any longer than that, it just doesn't process. So, starting off on New Year's Day, here is the archive of charts from weather.d. And we can see that on New Year's Day we had a trough of low through the country and down towards our south. This brought some shower rain eastwards. Also, upper temperatures were getting a bit colder behind that area of rain. Going through the first few days of January then, we saw an increasingly westerly flow coming back in. So after a slightly cooler start, we go back into mild, wet and windy weather through January. Now this low on January 7th into the 8th sees a lot of heavy rain and even storms around that low pressure system. It's actually quite similar to the pattern that we're seeing now with storms at times, big thunderstorms. There was one that passed over me in the about 5 a.m. on January 8th that brought large hail, thunder and lightning, just very, very, very noisy. Big storm came over that then. Okay, so beyond that, we see this low going eastwards and dying away, but we're still in this westerly flow, but a change is afoot. Now, we start seeing the jet stream push a bit further southwards into mid-January. That allows these lows to come south as well. Also, by January 16th, we're seeing high pressure retrogressing towards Greenland, and that allows a cold northerly to come down through the third week of January. So that brings very cold weather widely. So widely, daytime temperatures below freezing, well below freezing at night, frosty nights obviously, and days as well. A few wintry showers, especially in coastal areas, but there was really limited precip and therefore limited snowfall. So we had a very cold 3rd week of January there. But that was pretty much the last of the cold we saw that winter. Well, technically, but it will be cold again in March. I will see how that happens in a bit. So we started to break out of the cold spell by January 20th as the high pressure sinks southwards and allows milder air to come in from the southwest. However, high pressure tries to get going towards our east, but all the time it is connected to the Azores high over us, so therefore it's technically mild. Some frost was there at times, but in general that was quite a mild, cloudy pattern through the end of January. And that high pressure just sat around us until early February. And actually, now that we're in February here, it's pretty much high pressure to our south or over us from start to finish. So February, we will race through this. So we can see high pressure to our south pretty much a lot of the time. Sort of mild, dry, cloudy weather. Some frost as well, but look at that. The high pressure stays there. A few fronts coming in from the west at times. Some rain that's come through, but on the whole, it's just a bit. It's sort of like gloomy but dry. That sort of pattern. Now, by about Valentine's Day, we see the southerly wind, and that brings some very mild air northwards. We get a slightly more westerly spell here, a more changeable spell mid-month as these low pressures come southwards a little bit. But in general, the high pressure is still very close by. So in fact, many areas in the south stay dry. And going towards the end of the month here, again, the high to the south is dominating. Although a slight change by February 21st and 22nd, that is as we see that ridge moving towards the west. That drops into colder northerly for a time. So we do see some wintry showers by February 22nd, but they are pretty much the exception to the rule of a dry and mild February. Now, moving onwards, we can see that the high pressure comes back in over us. This time, it is in a cooler air mass, so therefore more of a frost risk actually, and possibly also more sunshine with that as well. Now coming towards the end of February and winter, we see heights over us quite strongly, so probably sunshine by day and some cloud as well, but frosty nights. That takes us into the 1st of March, the first day of spring, and we see an easterly flow. This isn't too cold, but with high pressure, it will be. This was a cold and frosty period. Now going through the first days of March, the high pressure ridges towards Greenland gradually, and then drops down a northerly flow by March 6th. So that we see that comes as a result of that SSW in February. That was a displacement of the PV, and that helped force the blocking over Greenland, Iceland, and so on, and therefore down came that northerly plunge in the first week and second week of March. So that was a cold spring spell, therefore. Now, beyond that, we keep going, and we see low pressure engaging with that cold air. So some light snow in the south there on Wednesday, March 8th. Upper temperatures are very cold. By March 9th, we see widespread significant snow everywhere pretty much, bar the south. As that low goes northwards, you can see upper temperatures with the -5 ice term into continental and Ulster, but further south we have the 0 ice term. Anywhere in the green area saw rain, but in the greens and blues it was snow or winteriness. Now, the low moved away, and that brought snow to more eastern areas on Thursday night. Into Friday then, it was drier and colder, but after that, the blocking is defeated, and more areas of low come through. Briefly colder for a time there on the 13th of March, but that's away. And we see March is a very, very wet month. I think it might have been the wettest on record for Ireland. So again, it's clear why, because we've got this low constantly in charge, spiraling in showers and rain. Briefly colder there around March 26th, but after that, here we go again. Milder, very, very mild, with a lot of rain. First, April 1st, 2023, cooler and drier as the ridge forms throughout west. Then we try and get some spring in as the ridge forms throughout east, pulling in this slight easterly flow. And but that comes to naught really, as more westers come in, and off we go into more of the same. Now into the Easter weekend here, we see a wet day on Sunday, dry at first, but rain later. Then by Easter Monday, it's a showery day with westerly winds. And then we see more low pressure coming in after that. So it's a very cool and showery sort of week here. We see a lot of convection bringing these April showers. Also, heights rising towards Scandinavia and the northwest of Russia there, by the way. So that helps keep us wet, basically. Okay, beyond that, go into this drier spell into the middle of April, and here we get finally some spring. As heights rise to our north and in comes an easterly wind. Bear in mind it's quite a strong easterly wind, and there are troughs along it, so there was cloud around, there were showers, so it wasn't exactly settles, but it was drier than anything we'd seen so far at that point. Coming towards the end of April now, heights rising towards Greenland, blocking, and we put on a cold northerly wind for a time. Upper temperatures look cold with that. That gets out of the way. Some frost with that, by the way. Then finally, end of the month, we see heights to our south. It's very flimsy, a bit showery. But by May 1st, we have a block over Greenland ridging towards us. Now, this block moves eastwards, so by May 3rd and 4th, May 4th, my birthday, we can see that it was a very warm day for my birthday. but it ended wet as well. After that, heights rising towards the east again, trying to anyway, but look at to our west, these lows kept coming in, and by May 11th, we've got a trough to the east and a ridge to our west. Now, this is the start of a big pattern change. You can see a lot of heights are rising at this stage. By May 12th, we have a big ridge from the Azores through Ireland, the UK, up to Scandinavia. So it's drying out, settling down, and sunshine is trying to break through now. And we keep going. A brief cooler incursion on May 15th there, but still high pressure is in control, and it comes firmly over us for the second half of May, bringing widespread warm, sunny weather. Some fog at times on the east coast and so on, but really that was a beautiful late spring spell of weather. Finally, spring came after March, April, and early May of rain and winds, and at times cold weather. Okay, so we're coming to the end of May here, and the heights are to our wests, and pretty much over us. So a very calm end to May, plenty of sunshine, lovely end to the month. But I was revising for my junior certs. Now, bear in mind, yeah, I got great results in the end, but yeah, I wasn't able to fully enjoy this decent spell, and unfortunately, as you'll find out, it gets worse. Okay, so into early June, heights are to our north, lovely sunshine, unbroken blue skies for many areas, very, very warm as well, upper temperatures shirt nicely. Now, coming towards the end of the first week of June, we start to see a trough coming up from the south, and that day by day increases the risk of thunderstorms over Ireland, especially in the Midlands, west and north, as southern and eastern counties were exposed to the wind of the sea, and convection, it doesn't take place over the sea, it happens over land, so showers formed over the Midlands and pushed westwards and northwards. So quite a thundery June we've seen actually in 2023, with a lot of lows to the south, highs to the north, very warm easterly winds and southerly winds, but storms as well. And this pattern was very dominant throughout June, and gradually the low pressure gets more dominant, you'll notice. Now into the final third of June, we see low pressure to our west deepening. We see the final proper dry spell and warm spell of the summer, really, on June 23rd, ridge to our south. But we see a low to the west breaking it down, and by June 25th, we're into a more westerly pattern, and it's pretty much from this point onwards that summer never comes back. Upper temperatures are cooling down. Also, this day we saw widespread, heavy, severe storms, especially in the eastern Midlands. Now, on this day, I was gutted because, okay, so put it this way, pretty much the most severe storm I've seen in my life on radar it looked like it was coming towards me, but at the last minute, it changed path and shifted northwards. The part of the storm that was coming towards me just died out. Whatever. Congrats to all of you who had a storm that day, if you wanted one. Alright, moving on. And we can see through the end of June, it stays westerly. Brief highs try to come in, but other than that, it's a westerly end to June. And we shall end part 1 of our review of Irish weather right here on June 30th, halfway through the year, looking westerly and showery by then. And as I said, summer never really comes back. So thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you today, New Year's Eve, for an update soon. Hopefully you're having a great one, and Happy New Year, everyone. It's been a great year, but we aren't done with the review just yet. Hold on.